Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Hogcast podcast. I am my Mark. Cut the string.
Good start,
Keep
man.
it. Keep
I
that
forgot. Hello.
We're rolling with that. We're rolling with that. This is still in the VOD, bro. I
Fine,
will
it's me,
unedit
Mark.
it.
I forgot my own name. I'm your host. Everyone else is here. Say hi, everyone else.
Hello.
Hi,
everyone.
everyone.
Excellent. I'm glad you all are feeling nice and chipper. We had a bit of an FAQ episode planned, but given the late release of said FAQ and everything in it, we've mixed and matched. We've got a bit of content for you all, and we've got a lovely PowerPoint presentation, which we are still getting to the grasp of how to record things properly. And I'm hope that comes across like we are the professionals we truly are at heart. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So we'll do a little bit of the FAQ. We had some stuff planned. It wasn't the FAQ we were all dreaming of, or was the FAQ that we just nothing's changed? Is everything going to be doom and gloom for the rest of our lives? Probably. But we're here to hopefully lift up the spirits and make sure we're all having a blast. So recent successes, never mind. We have recent successes to talk about.
What a segue.
Another flawless segue from your man, the host. How I'm in Scotland, so this is all news to me. Anyway, we get everything by like pigeon mail. So it's all kind of fucked. How's everyone? What's anyone want to talk about? Anyone to get some brags in while we're here into the West? That feels like a year ago.
I'm back at third in the league. It's a hotly contested position right now. But
Third in the league.
I think we're back there, baby. You got to claim it while you can, because obviously later in the year that will not be the case. So third in the year, 2 months in, I'll take it.
Shout out to Chris Ryder for topping the league only 1 month in.
Champ.
It's what a man, what a guy. Maybe we could get him on the podcast at some point if he deigns to speak with the rest of us at some point.
The mere mortals.
Yeah. Sean, you won Fool of a Took with a nice casual 80. Talk us through.
So that casual 80 had some rather fun rules where it was all central objective missions, and the central objective could move and things. And me and Ryan played final game to win the event. It was whole ground, and the objective very kindly decided to move 8 inches behind my wall of 30 plus dominant 2 dwarves.
Let's just have a moment to also, just point out, I was firmly on that objective. I had a cave drake on it. I had my Dom 2 goblins. I was just sitting back. My goblins are dying. I didn't care. I was chilling. Thinking, amazing, no problems. And we roll that last turn priority, and Sean goes, I've won. Rolls a dice. It's a 4. The center objective moves entirely towards my battle line, to which there was a chokehold, essentially, which he was on one side of, the bad side, and I was on the good side of, and then that just completely flipped last turn of the game. He just turned to me and said, I'm sorry.
That's incredible.
Robbed! I was robbed!
If it helps, I still think I win if it plays normally.
Well, it was fisticuffs.
Because
Ifs and buts.
Because it was banner break.
You were destroying my goblins. My goblins were dying. Like, actually, can we just point out those Iron Guard? Those 2 heroic Iron Guard that I have nightmares about. That in one activation, both for a weapon, killed a guy, charged 2, each killed those 2, and then in the second activation proceeded to repeat that process, killing a total of 12 models and 2 activations between them. I was like, that's wonderful. I then barged my Drake into those 2 Iron Guard, does 2 wounds to the Drake. I was like, cool. Cool.
That's what Iron Guard do, to be fair. That's
Iron Guard are quite good.
Quite.
But moving on, Arash got
Yeah.
into the top pod of the GP. What were you
Congrats,
playing?
Arash.
for that?
Sorry, what was that? What
What
was
were
I
you
playing?
playing as GP?
I was playing Shadows of Angmar. So 650, you've got what, two barrel weights, Gullivar and a captain. Tom was there as well, and he knew from the off the plan was not top pod. It was to get into second pod and try and finish top 3 to get a free ticket for next year. Yeah, mission unsuccessful. The only highlight is I didn't have to draw to get into top pod. I was just going through sheer stupidity.
Let's not
I'm
go
joking.
there.
I'm joking. That's going to get cut, isn't it? But
There's no cuts tonight.
I got in through sheer stupidity, and I lost my first game to Vince. That was my mistake. I tried to play some mind games because it was Army of the White Hand. And I was like, well, if it's hold ground, which it was, if he deploys first, I can win this game. I deployed first, so it was kind of all downhill after then. Then the rest of the day was just vibes.
The classic Maelstrom misplay of coming on the board first.
Yeah, classic misplay.
Yeah. It's the kind of talent you need to teach yourself.
Good players
more
don't
Irish.
do, you know.
Yeah.
I know. I set off the hotel alarm the previous night by microwaving dice in my room, and it still didn't work. What can I do, mate? But yeah, please move on from me. I did nothing.
And
Rob
on
M.
a more lighter note, we've had Rob M, our
Mr.
newbie,
McKelvey.
our sweet baby, our sweet innocent boy, get his best ever event performance.
He's come through the academy. He's been hitting the gym. He's been doing all the reps he needs to.
We haven't been hitting the gym.
Oh.
He's been in the pigsty.
He's been getting rough and ready with the pigs.
He's been digging for some truffles.
Oh.
Yeah, I had a very good weekend this weekend just gone at a ranger caught off his guard at Borden Brum in Walsall. Funnily enough, in Brum. Yeah, really nice little event. It was like 395 points. I took usurpers, obviously. It was just like 40 model limit, and I had like 36 models or something like that. And yeah, 3 wins, a draw, and a loss. And the loss I couldn't really do much about because it was game 1, lead from the front. And I played against Battle of 5 Armies, which was Gwaihir, Bayon, Hilda, and a single Lake Town Bowman.
Legend.
And I was like, cool, guess I'll just go fuck myself then. You know. And also on the top, I kept count after the second turn. I guess how many turns I rolled a 1 on for priority in a row from the very start of the game.
Oh, don't get me started on priority drama.
Well,
5 turns straight, I rolled a 1 for priority. So against Gwaihir and Bayon, yeah, not much I can really do after like turn 2. Once Gwaihir's in like, you know, charge range, basically, I was just like, cool. It was a funny game. I mean, the guy ended up coming second, so fair play to him because it's you know, it's a unique list to take, I guess. But yeah, really good little event. Yeah, just happened to be like my best in terms of sort of score points and all that. So, but then I did this last year. First couple of events last year, I did like pretty all right at, apart from New Adventure last year. Like early events, I did really well, and then it just nosedived later on in the year. So
we're ready
for
on downhill cascade then, yeah.
It's going to be a bigger fall this year.
A bigger fall than last year. Woof.
The fall of Saruman, maybe.
Did you win Fool of a Took last year, Rob?
I didn't go last year.
No,
sorry, the award Fool of a Took for the person who attends the most events, but does so poorly at them.
I don't think so. No, I mean I didn't get anything, so.
Nice. Well, you could go for that this year. Well, not with these amazing performances that you're pulling out the bag, Rob.
You bring them down.
Me and Arash on the clubbles this weekend. It could be interesting.
Be on the case.
Mate,
that's true, Arash.
There's so many ends.
Arash, you're
there's like
reigning champion of clubbles. You've got some big shoes to step back into.
Oh, what a segue! He used Depths of Moria last year.
Depths of Moria? That's crazy.
Let's call
him. The FAQ. The FAQ finally dropped. We had a whole thing where we were going to do like what we were expecting was going to be released versus what actually happened, and it was going to be a bit of a quiz, bit of a game, which is gone. We almost had it, an original idea. But speaking of being unoriginal, let's talk about the FAQ for a little bit. So there's the headline changes really. Drums in Depths is now once per game. Thank God, really. I think this does change the list to a bigger deal where now you have to take a bit more of a it's more of a decision between taking the Watcher and a drum at this point. Your next mandatory thing I think you're sticking in at most of the time is going to be, let's just get the drum in, get something nice, reliable, make those goblins how powerful they used to be. So I think there's now a bit more of a question, but a good person to ask about this actually would be Mr. Tom McConnell, Mr. 100 podium and winner with the old depths. How are you feeling about this?
I didn't podium with depths, other than the win.
It was part and parcel. It's part and parcel, mate.
Yeah, it's so I won at 1,000 points, and I think the list at 1,000 points still functions. You have a few less gobos, and that will make a difference in some games. You might lose one or two more, but the list will still do what the list does. If you bring the drum on, it's worth remembering also that quite a lot of lists can spec into ways to deal with it. So let's say you've got usurper spam or something, loads of Crebain. The depth player is going to have to work quite hard to protect the drum from the Crebain just jumping over and getting it as well. So that's also worth remembering that yes, you can just pay for the drum, but it is a bit of a liability. It could get ganked in Maelstrom. It could just get killed by random stuff, monsters flying, whatever. So
that's fair.
I think.
Do you bother though? Do you bother with the drum, or do you just go, well, the barrel and the Watcher are still the barrel and the Watcher, and I'll just play more conservative?
I reckon you probably, well, obviously I've not tried, but my initial instinct is that you would pay for the drum at 1,000 points and take them both.
What's the range of the Black Shield drum? Is it just 12 inches? 18. Okay, that makes it a bit more plausible.
The interesting thing that people aren't talking about is, presuming it works the same as last ed, the only people that can pick up a Black Shield drum are Black Shields.
Yeah.
Right.
Which means if you want to continue your drum going, you're also going to have like an escort posse of probably 4 Black Shields.
That is interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Because they're not the troops you really want to be doing. And in that case, why do you take the drum at all and just upgrade to a D6 frontline somewhere?
I'm still not convinced of the drum. I think you could just the whole point is the goblins don't they were too good, and I want to also point out this is a good change. I'm very happy for this change. It also stops the goblin spam, which is just phenomenal. But I think at your 800 plus points, when you got those two heroes, the Watcher and the Balrog, it still does the same thing where it just pulls people and just yeets them the other side of the universe with the size of the bases and just murders the heroes. And there's not really much counter to that. So I still feel like you're going to get quite a negative play experience with the Watcher and the Balrog. But hopefully it reduces the goblin spam aspect.
Yeah. I think the Watcher and the Balrog can always do that thing, but the way that list has been undeniably oppressive is just by a board-wide banner on your one schmuck goblin in the corner who's getting 3 dice to fight against something versus that actually needs to die.
It's going to be bad at quarter now. It'll be better. It'll still be just as good in the break, but in the quarter ones, then it'll be a lot worse. So fair.
For sure. That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
To give you an idea, because those 800 point lists where people gambled on the Balrog and the Watcher weren't actually that big to begin with.
No.
In terms of the model count, they were in the 40s?
Yeah, I think I remember playing a 750 list that was 38 models with them both in.
So all of a sudden, that's basically, at that point level, the drum is kind of off the table.
Yeah, agreed.
That's why I said at 1,000, I think it's okay still.
The Dragonfire.
Set ablaze.
How do people feel about that?
I like it as a change. I hate the amount of loom bands this is now going to take.
It's just miserable change, isn't it? I guess before before it was so consistent, right? Well, to be fair, I didn't play it that often, but the idea of you have a siege weapon that hits a target every turn and murders anything that it touches isn't a good idea. I get that. The 8 models ablaze. Who wants to be tracking that? This is another reason why not to take depth spam goblins now. Why do you want to? They have to go prone. That's half their movement, and they have to crawl an inch. So you have to take a turn or 2 turns to do anything meaningful.
It's 2 turns. It has to be 2 turns.
Yeah. It's just such a. I really don't like the change. If I see a Dragonite, I'm going to be even more upset I think I was before.
The problem with facing one is, let's say you take that option, you get hit by one, your captain or whoever rolls the fate and survives, but then you've got a load of guys. You choose to go prone and move an inch. Next turn, the dragon player just does it again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
That's
at
why
that
the
point, you're
genius.
inching forward, just eating shit eating fire.
Monetize.
That's why the genius strategy that me and Ryan cooked up comes in. What you're going to do, you're going to go prone. You're not going to bother to get up. You're going to ask your opponent to charge all your models. You're then going to natty 6 every single fight and stand up.
Easy.
That's how to do it. That's how to do it.
It's actually
Speaking of models not moving anymore,
I'm
I'm getting these segues getting better and better. By like episode 3, it's just going to be one long segue, I reckon.
Smooth, continuous. Yeah.
Oh, this is the stuff podcasters can dream of. The Screech now stops models from charging instead of moving completely. This is a interesting change. I think it's the latter one down there, Barge changing, is doing more to harm eagles than the Screech change is harming eagles. Paired with each other, it seems to be the general consensus is it's not doing a lot regardless.
I still think eagles are such a gotcha army. Like, I think the problem is, okay, you can kind of prevent the barging from happening as much, and the not being able to charge versus not being able to move is nice because you can pseudo trap models and things like that, and it makes it more risky for the eagles player. They still just go, here's 5 eagles, I'm going to haul all 5 of them into your hero or your banner. They can still kind of do what they want to do. I think at low points it'll be oppressive. I think it's going to be a little bit worse and it'll lose the occasional game. So hopefully that will be enough to discourage people from taking it. But I still think it's one of those armies that you see your opponent play, you're like, cool.
Yeah. Again, if the comparison is from last edition was Riders of the Theoden being the staple go in smack things,
it still does that.
It still does it, right? And there's the counterplay is slightly more there, which is good. I think someone was saying as well, so they've clarified on the activation of Guahir.
It's when the model so it's when the model who is affected activates, i.e. if Guahir is moved, it's where he finishes his move. If Guahir hasn't moved yet, the model's near him. So what's good about that is that it stops essentially being able to go, cool, if it's at the start of my move, I'll Screech over here, Screech all these lot, move over there, charge that lot.
Yeah. But also potentially it's the whole idea of if it does trigger, then Guahir, if he loses like the move off or whatever, he still gets a lot of value out of it.
No, because he'd still not be able to be tagged by losing the move off.
Yeah.
Is it linked to his activation?
That's when the other model activates, because it's when the other model activates, not Guahir.
Sure. Okay.
Right.
But yeah, fair enough. Makes sense. I believe you. I can't remember the point that I had about it that I thought in the shower about 3 days ago. So that makes sense to me. Models that can't trap or anything. Whoa, Grima.
Segues everywhere.
Bloody hell, Grima. Good
changes.
Good stuff, Grima.
A good change, but it doesn't quite fix it as much as I think people initially thought it did.
You can also still trap, can't you? Because you don't need. You could just do it so his base is overlapping rather than him.
Well, you can still
base flat because they would back away to where Grima's base is.
Yeah. He can still be a body block. He can still be annoying, but at least he's not. Oh look, you moved your Balrog into the dead end. Congratulations, your Balrog will not move the rest of the game. Levels, which I think is good.
It's quite nice. Like I played against it at the weekend at that event in Borden Brum, and it was one of the diagonal deployment scenarios. So it was really, really nice because I could like all the bullshit you have to do with deployment for like lightning and trying not to just here's a massive chunk of guys to squash. But like, okay, cool. Well, you've put Grima in this half of the board, so I can just deploy normally here. Like, I can march, I can do all these things, and obviously, spending more for the march and all that. But like, it's it's one less thing to think about, because there's one thing I hate with the. It's not that I necessarily hate the mechanic of it and everything. Like I think it's a cool rule, and it makes sense for Grimmer and everything. But like I remember playing against it with Goblin Town once at Call to Rivendell last year. And it was like 600 points, 650 points. And I took Goblin Town with like 69 models or something stupid, and deploying against Army of the White Hand with Goblin Town sucked, because it's just so much admin. And it was nice that at least I didn't have to worry about that admin in like one area of the board, like 1 12-inch area of the board.
It feels better.
People have said that this is not really affecting Army of the White Hand that much, and I very much disagree. The change to having Grima be an anti-lightning rod for your entire army, just if you deploy correctly, is massive. And it's you really need to like gauge like how you think your opponent is going to be playing the game, how you think you should be playing the game, and it's now so easily telegraphed. All these different moves the White Hand's arsenal had. It's really I'm building the army now, and I'm really looking like, dude, do I really want to take Grima, or would I rather just take another Crebain? Because the scenarios that they're really good in, like your Fog of War, is he can't be that target anymore. He can't be the protect thing. He can't be safe VPs.
God.
It's a bit of a head scratch on how you actually have to play with the army now, which is good. I love Army of the White Hand, and I've been wanting to try and run it in different ways for a bit of a while now, as we may get into a bit later. Ooh.
If you sit in behind the battle line, that's still a 6-inch bubble of no heroic combats for you.
It is. It's not a 6-inch bubble of him being able to move things in the right order. And Crebain are very good. And that is the other thing that the White Hand's always wanting to do, is have like an extra 2 Crebain where it can.
Yeah.
I still think
we shall see.
Shall we move on to any more thoughts about the FAQ? Because we do have some lists.
We sort of mentioned Barge. Barge could change. Yeah. Next.
It remains to be seen. I think it's going to have impact on people's games. I think there's going to be a lot more head scratching on various situations, but it's slightly better.
My only
issue
with the Barge FAQ is that I felt my brain grow a wrinkle while I was trying to read and understand it.
Well, that's good. So that's your second wrinkle this year. That's very good. That's great. So, a bit of a main segment for us. We were thinking, let's try a theme podcast around things. So we kind of got a bit of a chronological thing going on. We had our January one, and we're doing our February one. What happens in February? Valentine's Day. Oh yeah.
Not the cat, Sean. Not the cat. No.
Sean put this PowerPoint presentation together, so if there's several cat pictures somewhere, then you'd know why. So it's sort of, this is also like pre-FAQ, there's a bit of doom and gloom. There still might be a bit of doom and gloom. I want to take the opportunity, when we're all going to take an opportunity to just talk about stuff that we like, the things that we like in the game. And just like, it doesn't have to be necessarily because it's a ridiculously strong profile or anything, just things that make you feel happy inside when you use them for whatever reason. Sean, what's your top 3? Your top 3 I love these models.
So it's weird, I've only actually used 2 or 3 of these this edition, but so I've used Elendil and I've used Gloin. So Gloin.
I've only used 2 of these.
There was a typo in that one. You've only used 1 of these.
So the reason that I picked Theoden is that I actually think it's a really good example of this edition where they haven't taken the easy choice, they've taken a smart choice. Because the easy choice, and I mean specifically around Harrogren, so they could have made Theoden fight 6 and just gone, fine. They didn't. They kept him at fight 5 and gave him fight 5.5, which I thought was really quite clever rules design specifically for Theoden.
On a model with strike as well.
Yeah. I really like that kind of as rules design. I think it kind of shows the new edition kind of in its really kind of good light in terms of where they've changed and tweaked and added a little bit more flavour to profiles that they didn't necessarily have before. Because Harrogrim before was terrible. Harrogrim was you can always faint, so you never have to stab.
Yay!
But now with it being what it is, it actually sort of brings in a nice dynamic, and it also brings interesting flavours into things like Defensive Helm's Deep, because all of a sudden he's fight 6, winning every fight, winning the roll off. So
it's kind of like it's like the ultimate Elven Blade in many ways, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm jealous.
So the other two that I've gone for, obviously I had to have a dwarf on here, but we'll talk about the big man first, Elendil. So despite my absolute horror run at Bubbles, which Tom McConnell was mostly responsible for,
I was responsible for some of that.
You were also responsible for some of that.
Yeah, thank you, Grima.
Sorry, what did I do?
Dragoned him.
You dragoned me at night time.
And then dragoned me as well, I like to point out.
Despite that, I think there's been a lot of faff about Elendil no longer having a horse. That boy don't need one. I know Ryan is also an Elendil convert because he absolutely smacks things still. And for anybody who has known me for a while, I do quite like the beta heroes, and Elendil is just probably the best beta hero in the game.
You recommended it. Like I was thinking about BirdsCon, and I was thinking about Isildur. You're like, no, pick Elendil. I was like, oh, I don't know. He's not got his horse, one fate. And you're like, no, pick Elendil. He was just amazing every game.
Yeah.
The only time where it's slightly cursed is whenever I played against someone with Gil-galad, and anywhere I put Elendil into, he put Gil-galad behind, and I was like, oh god, I'm striking just to kill an elf. But in general, he was absolutely class. I have to say.
Like, he brings a lot to the, like the Elisars of the world. Elendil for heroic combat in. All of a sudden, Elisar's quite scared because you can't consistently, compete with him. He's one of the very few models who's just kept have a free heroic combat, mate.
Yeah,
he's got up to fight 8. He's strength 5. Always +1 to wound. The guy's just a murder machine. And he's great fun to use. The last one is Gloin, specifically Champion of Erebor. The synergies they've written into that list, I really, really, really enjoy. I really enjoy that they've kind of given the dwarves who you wouldn't really see any as much last edition actually viability to take. So Bofa being the obvious one, and Ori. But Gloin going into 2 models, going to 4 attacks, Burly, for some reason 3/2/3.
Yeah.
Why?
It's the same as Gimli, I guess. They just wanted to pair him up as his old dad.
As his dad, yeah.
But compare him to Gimli, and Gimli feels very sad.
What's the points difference?
I think they're about
Gimli's 100.
No, they're the same.
They're both 100.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Like father, like son.
That's like the B-Tech version, right? Gimli is the B-Tech version of his dad.
Yeah.
But what I like is that they've essentially changed his profile so that he lost, because he lost the Master Forged Axe and went to he has to 2-hand. But they gave a positional play around to avoid that, and also gave him something to account for that as well, to going into 2 models. And he just shreds things. The guy is just a beast. He is very fun to use because he is just an absolute cannonball. And so
I don't think I've ever seen a dead Gloin. Now I'm thinking about it.
I have.
It just takes so much effort to do it. It's just, oh god, I can't remember to do something else.
I think I've lost mine once.
Yeah.
And that was because I threw him into an Aragorn just to cause problems, and he still got Aragorn down to 1 wound, no fate. So
there you go.
Do you ever find that he whiffs with the -1 then?
No, because the points that you're taking him at, you're also taking Ori.
Okay.
That makes
you
sense.
wouldn't take him in Army of Erebor then?
So, Army of Erebor is a list that I've played around with. I think I'd still take him in it, but it's not a list that I played as much, because the problem is when you try and build it, you look at the Erebor Reclaimed alternative and go, that's kind of better. Yes, the strength 4 +1 to wound is very good, but you're already strength 4, you're still killing things anyway. Whereas March and Charge is incredible.
Yeah, especially for your little stunty dwarves the
Yeah.
entire time. Speaking of mobility, actually, I did want to go back to Elendil. I think you've got he's a really, really easy accessible mobility for your army, because I think your options are you have Elrond on horse, and the horse isn't surviving long. He doesn't have horse lord at all. He's got expert rider, good for him. Expert rider rather than writer. I'm sure he's really good at his calligraphy as well. You've got Isildur on the horse again. If he's putting that ring on, the horse comes off. And you've got your Rivendell captain with a horse.
Can't be mounted in Last Alliance.
I think the Rivendell captain.
Oh no, they can't. Sorry, it's Fornos that can't be mounted.
Fornos that can't. Yeah. And again, it's just that's one model each way. And if you need to get an Elven blade somewhere fast, you've got one behind Elendil all the time. Just sling them into combat, really make a nuisance of yourself. Get like 3 or 4 models where they need to be. Is just I think with Isildur often comes stuck. Yeah. I think Isildur often becomes a bit more stuck on things than you'd like him to be. Either if he's failing his ring rolls, or he doesn't have the Elven blade stuck behind him, or the extra spear support. He's just winging it by himself. And Elendil's just he really fills that gap in that list quite a nice way. Yeah. Hopefully they do something to make him good in Numenor as well. Ooh, wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice?
Make him a banner.
Ryan, Mr. Lizard.
I heard you hating on Elrond about 10 seconds ago. We'll get to the Lizard. So, I thought I could kind of represent my boy Elrond. I think talking about changes there from last edition to this edition just made sense. Elrond going to fight 7, incredible. That, along with the 2-handed rule, just makes him feel like an actual Elven Lord. And I think he is just such a good profile in so many attributes. He's safe because he's got 3 fate. He's got the re-rollable with the ring. He's D7. He can take a horse if you want to. You've got magic that I can't undersell how good Wrath of Brunin is, whether it's in Last Alliance or in Rivendell itself. And he can actually kill stuff 2-handing. It just feels like the profile glow up that he always should have had. So I ran Last Alliance with Elrond and Isildur, Burdicon, and the two of the not Isildur, Elendil, sorry, the two of them together were just phenomenal. Like they barely ever died, and they just put it work. But no, I loved Elrond's change. I think it was a really nice change. I think it really fits with where he should have been. And it was a big win for this edition. I've only used him a few times, but I've loved it every time I have.
Yeah, there's a reason he's the poster boy for the anatomy of a profile thing in the main rule book.
Yeah, great change. Like small changes, but they just work. So yeah,
100%.
I love Elrond. Talking of going to fight 7, Boromir, the absolute Chad. I took Breaking of the Fellowship to a few events. Oh my god, forget Aragorn, leave him at home, don't care. Boromir just runs into Uruk-hai scouts, blows his little trumpet, and just shreds on everyone. And it's ridiculous. I mean, bear in mind, last year I played mostly like my biggest hitter was Haldir. Having a Boromir going in, running in, calling Uruk, strengthening it, ghosts. Oh, it's just so beautiful. Remodeling runes with the Hobbit next to him. Oh, I just couldn't get enough of that, man. So.
What I still can't quite get over with Boromir of Gondor is the absolute list of heroics he has.
He just has it all.
He has March, Strike, Strength,
Defense,
Defense, and does he have Resolve? He doesn't have Resolve, does he?
No, he doesn't. But he's in Fellowship, so he gets magic rares anyway, right?
Yeah, but what's also quite nice there is that I think him and Aragorn go really nicely together.
Yes,
because it frees up that Gorn free one to do something else that turn. So it might be he just accuracies for free for him and Legolas.
I mean, it's phenomenal. I played it and I played against Eagles, and Boromir just laughs at Eagles. He goes, "Oh, strike, heroic strength. I'll do it both." He's just great.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Rerolling all his wounds because there's a Hobbit nearby.
Yeah, and you're just like, "Oh, I'm 100 points." It's like, what? Like, you look at an elf captain who's like 80 with a shield, right? It's
Yeah.
like, this guy's insane. I can't speak on good things. So Boromir was a great little model. I'm also kind of glad he's only in a few lists, because I think I'd be sick of seeing him allied to every list ever.
Yeah, thank God he can't be souped into a
Yeah, Boromir's suit would just be, oh god. But the real creme de la creme of my recent MESBG journey has been the Cave Drake. And I had the Cave Drake a long time. I took it to an event, crashed out, went like 0-3 first day, didn't make it to day 2, got distracted at the pub. It happened.
Oh yeah.
That was the birthplace of my nickname. But I decided to take it back again this year. He's fight 7 now, which again can't be understated. All my heroes have realized we bumped to fight 7. There's a theme here. It's just ridiculous. Like I've played it a few events now, and it's never died. It's taken the occasional wound, and it's just always put a shift in. And what's phenomenal about it is, you if you play your eggs correctly, you get your fearless. You've got magic raise, you've got through will. So I've played against a barrel right list, and you can still normally sort of resist those paralyzers. And it just is so consistent at chunking through troops. And then what happens is your opponent goes, oh dear, this is killing a lot of troops. I'm going to throw my hero. It doesn't have strike. I'll strike up against it. I'm like, cool, charge me. They strike up against it, and they roll a 5 high. And I'm like, okay, do you want to mite that? And if they don't mite it, I go, cool, I'm going to barge you. They're going to recharge you. And if I win that fight, I've got 10 dice to do with you. So like, as soon as the hero like fluffs against a Cave Drake, it's over. And the hero has to basically win probably about 3 rounds in a row against the Cave Drake to put it down. And at that point, it's just not worth the risk, because you have to make sure that you don't fluff any of those 3 rolls, or the Cave Drake will just murder you. And I think you ignore the Cave Drake and you go for the goblins. But everyone just seems to love charging into the big beastie, and it's just worked out phenomenally.
Yeah.
So,
have you found the Drake now? He's on a bit more of a dinner plate than he used to be.
I found it easier actually, because the base size before was longer.
Interesting.
It's slightly wider now. It was 120 by 80, and now it's just 100 all the way around. But actually, the length of the base before was quite annoying, because it left such a footprint that slightly turning the base to try and get them into different models meant you were swinging that base quite far around. Whereas now you're not really worrying about rotating him in, and it's actually, I found him to be a lot more maneuverable than he was previously, even though it's slightly wider.
Interesting.
I played against your Drake more than anybody, Ryan. And yeah, it's still, you don't really. Oh, the base size. It's weird, because what you want the Cave Drake to do now, I think and it's a bit of a hot one, but I think the whole Drew Zag the Cave Drake thing kind of overskewed in.
I think he's cutting out just as soon as he was getting to the point.
I think some Druzag lovers have heard what he's about to say, and they've cut
the stream. Cut the stream.
But I actually know what he's going to say, because we spoke about this, and I have a similar take. So the whole thing about taking Druzag and the Cave Drake, whereby you invest another 80 points into it, I think I would rather just spend that on a second Cave Drake.
Yeah.
Because the thing about Druzag is you take him, and you go, great, I can enrage, right? I get to fight 9. Oh, I can take bats. But by the time you've enraged a Drake, the bats are redundant. So I'd rather either be able to take bats without Druzag. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't need to have both at that point. So
yeah.
Sorry, guys, where did you lose me?
I made the point. It's all good. I know exactly what you're going to say.
The play is redundant. I think that play is a little bit overplayed. But what I like about the Drakes, although the base size is generally a negative, it actually allows him to do his role really well, because you can just plug him in a gap between 2 buildings and go, you'll never kill me.
Moving terrain.
Yeah.
And again, 150 points for fight 7, 6 wounds, 10 dice when he wins on charge. You just can't buy value like that. There's 2 elf captains. I know what I prefer.
Moving swiftly on. Rob, talk us through.
I'm loving these pictures.
You're welcome.
So to be fair, when Sean was pestering me in the week about what's I just kind of picked the first 3 profiles that I thought that I liked off the top of my head, so I didn't really think about it. I did
fall asleep when you sent me yours, to be honest.
Well, Dude, Great Beast is one of those where I bought my Great Beast Gorgoroth maybe about 2 weeks before the Legacy announcement because I'd only been playing the game like 3 or 4 months, and I was like, "Oh, this model looks cool. Let's buy this." And then I genuinely think the day I finished painting it, maybe they announced the Legacies, and I was like, "Oh, fuck."
Nice.
So, but I do like the way that the rules changed with it. Like I think the rules are just mad. Like it's almost like GW looked at most War Beast rules. They were like, yeah, let's do something completely different for the Great Beast in the new edition. Where like Mumuk, someone be like, oh, I've got 4 archers on this side, I've got 4 archers on the other side. They can shoot. The way they're looking, they can't shoot the other way. Not the Great Beast. Great Beast has got 9 archers on it, and they all shoot off of the line of sight of the commander. So you've got 9 orc shots every turn, hitting on 5s because they're not moving. Just whatever way you want, basically. And I just think it's hilarious because it's like they just completely do different rules. I don't know if there's anything else. I don't play any other War Beasts. I don't know if anything else has got similar rules, but it's fucked.
I think you missed the main change about the Great Beast is that it went from 2 to 3 impact hits.
Well, yeah, I was getting to that bit, but it's a cheapish War Beast. It's only 175 points. Like it's a nice thing to like. It's probably not as good as I want it to be, but I like the model. I think it's fun, and yeah, if I ever get the opportunity to chuck it into a list, I will, because it's a fun thing to sort of just have out there, and it's got plenty of room for shenanigans, I reckon. Hurin from the Gondor lists. I'm kind of it's one of those. Hurin's one of those where I really gravitate towards models that have got stupid rules that just sort of throw stuff in there. And what I really like about Hurin is he's got the line of command special rule. So if your general gets killed or takes a wound, if he's still alive on the board, that your opponent doesn't get VPs for it. And it's just like a bit of fuckery. It just sort of messes with your opponent a bit. And I mean, he's not great. He's D6. He's only fight 5. He's 2 attacks, 2 wounds, 1 fate. Like he's not mind-blowingly amazing. But if you can sort of keep him hidden down the back of the line for moves and stuff, he's got 3 might. So it's just funny. I wish there was more heroes that had that. I mean, to be fair, he can sort of hit if you want him to as well. Because I know he's only fight 5, but he's got a Master 4, just hand and a half weapon. Straight 4 and sort of free 2-handed and stuff is a nice thing to have. And then the last hero I've got is Aldrak, who I've only sort of just recently started playing. Me and Arash are taking him in our list this weekend. And again, he's just one of those where, I mean, I'm gutted he hasn't got a 2-handed weapon or a hand and a half weapon or whatever, because he's got this massive mace. But I suppose, to be fair, he's fight 6, straight 5, 3 attacks. He's got mighty blow, 3 heroic combats if he kills a model in the previous turn. He's one of those where he's just a nice guy to sort of throw in. Me and Sean have had quite a lot of conversations about Host of the Witch King and whether you should be taking Aldrak or whether you should be taking the Shadow. And I think we disagree on that one quite a bit, because I'm starting to feel like now that Aldrak is more fun. Like, because the Witch King is not a great hitter. I played Contest of Champions the other week, and a sort of casual game and all I had was the Witch King. I had the Shadow of Rudar, and I had orcs, like orc captains and barrow wights. And Contest of Champion against London, like, I had to put the Witch King as my champion because he's my only model that's higher fight than just the standard lads. And I was sat there the whole game like, I wish I had Aldrak. Aldrak would be so much fun right now. 3 combats and all of this, like straight 5, just knocking elves out left, right, and centre. And I was just there like trying to get kills with the Witch King and fucking having a really rough time with it. So I mean, Aldrak's probably a little bit expensive for 120 points, but I don't think massively overcosted. Like maybe like 100.
He's expensive because that's the trade-off you have in Host of the Witch King, right? Because it's sort of like, yeah, cool, you can use them in 2 lists, but one of them it's going to be a bit of you're going to have to shoehorn them in and lose a couple things along the way. In his own list, I think he's very perfectly costed for.
Yeah, I think Calm Doom is its own top. And I lean away from him is that I don't think he does what.
What
never
Sean
know.
was going to say is he doesn't do what he wants him to do. Sean actually thinks he's incredible, and he recommends that you should take him in every list.
Yeah,
And there's great
Sean-
synergies as well.
Yeah, Sean
You
doesn't know what
enchant
he's
his
talking
blades.
about. His computer is a Aldrak fan. His computer's from
Sorry.
Cardoon.
Sorry, I don't know what
Just on
happened,
Aldrak
guys.
though, like he does work in Host of the Witch King because you can enchant his blades as well, so it guarantees that he kills that model when he keeps moving. You can combine him with the Witch King, so I've done that a few times where you get the Witch King and Aldrak in the same fight. You combat off, and the Witch King goes to fight 7 against men. So you can run him into a Hurin or an AMR or someone, stab him with a Morgul blade, just see what can happen.
He's a really fun profile to use. I do agree with that.
I
Other profile really just want to touch on as well that you mentioned Hurin. I really want to run him again this edition. I keep writing the lists to try and put him in, but it's just I can't justify it to myself.
He's
so
Uno reverse card into shit Faramir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I think you need, what would make me want to play him more is because I've not played a top for war, but it's been one of those lists I keep meaning to go get to, and you can take him in that. But Gandalf doesn't have the Gondor keyword in that list, obviously. So he's just an expensive captain, really. Whereas I feel like that army, I can't remember how it is in the books, but obviously in the films, like Denethor's been a dick at that point. Gandalf is leading the forces of Gondor in the defense of the Pelennor. Like he should pick up the Gondor keyword for that list, I think. And at that point, Hurin's worth taking. But I don't think he's really worth it in. I suppose maybe in Minas Tirith, because obviously Denethor's not great. But then who's playing Minas Tirith?
Well, there's a list I've been cooking up potentially for Preston. Tom, you'll be excited to hear. Which is Boromir, Faramir, Hurin, and then just bulk out on knights, and you get like 18 models or something like that. And I'm wondering, does he finally have a place in there? Because you don't mind suiciding Boromir into something as much. Interesting. Food for thought.
The problem with line of command has always been if something can eat and this is more of a last edition problem, but if something could eat your Gondor leader, it could probably also eat Hurin.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Whenever I have used him in a list, that's been the thing of cool. I can sort of throw it's kind of what Ryan was saying about Elrond in Last Alliance. If you take Elendil as your leader, because I found when I was playing Rivendell a lot at the start of last year that Elrond's an absolute beast and Wrath Burning and all that, but I was very hesitant sometimes because the amount of times I rolled like a 1 on my Wrath, and then I've just thrown Elrond, my general, into a massive pile of lads. I'm just about to get absolutely ruined. Whereas
getting dragged off
in
his
Last
horse.
Alliance, in Last Alliance, you've got Elendil as your general. You can just let Elrond off the lead, and you can just eat, and you don't have to worry about losing sort of points to general wounds and all that because he's not your general. So it's the same thing with Hurin. Yeah, the amount of times I've used him, I've only used him like 2 or 3 times, and like that's what's happened to me. Is normally my opponent, you'll explain the rule to your opponent at the start of the game and think, okay, cool, we'll kill Hurin first, then we'll go on to the general.
There's a psychological element to it. Yeah, that makes sense.
Speaking of psychological, should we move on to the next person?
Oh, Arash.
Everybody, boo!
I don't understand the photo.
Wait, who's
that? With anything.
Is that? Did you just type in Amdo to Google and this is the first image that pitches up for some reason?
Does nobody know who that is?
I don't know.
That's Barry White.
It's Barry White.
Is that Barry White?
Fair enough.
I didn't realize he had beard and all that. That's crazy.
That's probably Barry White when he was like 21. So.
All right, you put yourself in the defendant's chair here. I think Arash, talk us through. I'm right.
Correct.
That make people feel
I'll leave the most controversial one to last. Amdor.
Okay.
I am enjoying Amdor. I've never played him before, just because I never bought Easterlings, but I've been using him recently. And he gives me something that I've never had this edition with any of my heroes. So everyone knows I run pretty trash heroes in combat. So it's either like Raza, who's fight for Suladan. Even the Mahud King is terrible now because strike's only D3. And he doesn't get +1 to wound on the charge. So using Amdor, he just gives you this level of threat, which is incredible. Like you can go in to a fight 6 hero and be like, strike at me, because I'm going to get it for free. Or what I like to do with him is keep him on foot in the phalanx. And then you call a challenge on like some bummy hero who's not very good, who's also Valor. And he goes to 4 attacks. So you've got 4 attack Amdor, 2-handing with 2 pike supports. And he just cuts through troops until he gets to his target. Being fight 7 is great. The D6 is a little rough. However, he's a 3-inch banner. He makes Black Dragons fight 5. And he's pretty decently costed at 135 points. And he's got General Hunter whenever that comes up. Which it has on occasion. Yeah, it has on occasion, because not only do you get a might point back for killing the enemy general, you then become a 6-inch banner for Easterlings. So he's got it all. I wouldn't recommend putting him on his armored horse. I don't think he needs it. He fights better with his troops around him. You keep little 1-inch gaps, keep him with 2 pike supports, and he just goes in and cleans up. So I think he's an excellent profile for 130
Just
points.
with that,
Does he have phalanx?
He does.
Nice. Okay.
that
definitely makes him slightly better than Imrahil for that similar kind of job.
Way better. Way better.
Right. He's also
And he always wins heroes on a 5+. I think Tom and I were talking about this, whether or not if you 2-hand it goes to a 4+. I think the wording is it's a natural 5+.
Yeah.
And you only really use the 2-handed weapon when you want to cut through D7 troops like dwarves and stuff. But it's still great. It's like a mini Anduril. And if you can get the trap, you've got the pikes backing you up, you've got the 2-handed Easterlings as well, and he's wounding a hero on 5+. He really puts out a lot of damage.
That doesn't mean you can't might it either, right?
Natural 5+, so yeah, you can't might it.
Yeah.
But at that point,
yeah, that's one to look up. But yeah, I think it's interesting on the armored horse, because I agree with Arash that I really like his profile. I think he's really cool, and I like what they've done with him. I think he's a bit like my third example before, where it's a profile that they've just tinkered a little bit this edition and really made work. Maybe it might just be me being a dwarf player, but I am a hell of a lot less scared of him on foot than I am mounted, just purely because, kind of in my experience playing against him, he kind of just gets stuck on foot. Like, so I played against Eastlings with, and it was the Eastlings list. It wasn't Arash's weird Grand Army the South soup. I played against with Erebor Reclaimed, and it was just kind of like, cool, you know.
Yeah, he's not impressing.
Yeah. Well, the answer to that is, if you're playing Khazad-dûm, for example, or even Erebor Reclaimed, you just call a heroic challenge of one of the heroes when you're within 6 inches. And he goes up to 4 attacks, and you always 2-hand them with 2 spear supports. Chances are you roll a 6.
It's that hero.
It's only 4 attacks against that hero.
Yeah.
Shows how much I know about the rules, guys. Welcome to the Hogcast podcast. Granted, I've only done it once. But yeah, it's
big detriment to you using Amdor, especially on foot, is that is one of the worst models, I think, in game. Whereas on horse is one of the best models in the game.
What is
all the more reason to love him.
If you can't even remember what he looks like on foot, that says it all.
He's just there with a sword, and that's it. Like,
he's just holding his sword like his dick in his hands.
Yeah.
The next profile, the Mumak War Leader. So he's kind of made a bit of a lateral move, in my opinion. His old profile was great because you can charge a general and be like, I'm pulling a strike on top of a Mumak. It's like, if you lose, you basically just want to die at this point, because I'm charging you with a giant strength 9 4 attack monster. He no longer can call strikes on generals, but what he can do is, obviously the War Beast rules changed, so you can't stop a Mumak now unless you equal or more the strength in terms of models and base contact. He can also shut down heroic moves, the first one on a 4+, and it's up to you if you want to call another one. That's also something from the last edition, but it's still great. He gets the free No, is he in Harad? I think he might be, but he gets a free heroic combat in Harad
Yes.
once per game, which is completely busted.
That's a good question, actually.
Because if you lose, if your opponent goes first and then you charge the warriors and you stop on 1, chances are you're just going to call a combat again and run through another 9 or 10. So he just absolutely destroys opponents. The other great thing about him is he's courage 4+, so he's rarely stampeding. And if you take him in Grand Army to South, he's courage 3+.
Because he's got the horn, right?
He hasn't got the horn. It's the army bonus. But if you take someone with the horn, he just auto passes, so he can't stampede.
Yeah, because the Mahud chief on the top is like courage 4.
No, this is the war leader. This is the war leader.
But he is a Mahud model, isn't he?
I don't think he gets a war horn as part of his war gear.
No, he doesn't get a war horn, but he's just courage insane anyway.
Yeah, he's like 4+, and then he goes to 3+ in the army. And then if you take a Haradrim warrior with a war horn, he then becomes courage auto pass. So he can basically never stampede unless you train his courage.
He is courage 4+ base.
Yeah, base.
And he's 3 will or 2 will?
He's 2 will.
3/2/2.
3/2.
3 might on a Mumak as well is tasty.
That's the big one, right? That's the main reason you take, plus the heroic move cancelling. That's the main reason you might want to take him.
Exactly. And putting out full strength 9 hits on impact hits, you're going to do a lot of damage. He's going to run into like an LSR. He's going to get shot at by Legolas. And now with the in the way rules changing as well to only a 4+ from a 5+ when he's in the Howdah, he is vulnerable. But if you're running the Mumak War Leader, you're not running him to win events. You're running him just for the vibes. I love his profile.
He is in the he is in the Harad list, but he's not on the far Harad list anymore, despite being Mahud. Yeah. He's decided to go be with a different kind of people. He's leaving his old ways behind.
North like you. Sounds like you, mate. Moved up north.
Betrayer. Betrayer part 2.
And then my favorite profile this edition is the Barrow White. I don't care if you do 3+ paralyzed.
That kick button? There's a kick button.
I have to say, like, I'm also very deeply in Camp Barrow White right now. Like,
of course you are.
Playing a lot of Host of the Witch King. I think it needs to be 4+. I think the paralyzed needs to be 4+ because it is.
No. And I'll argue why it's a no. No.
It depends who you play.
4+ last edition was good because he had a ring race. Gulliver had a ring race. Gulliver had a ring race to support him, right? So he wasn't running. You can transfix an Aragorn. You can paralyze him on a 4+ if you could, and then Gulliver will go in and finish it off. Now in Shadows of Angmar, he's all by himself, so he's got no strike. He's only got defense. You've got Legolas running around, so you can just shoot him when he's in combat, just taking down his attacks a bit, which does help. So having that 3+ paralyzed just helps him kill a bit better. Otherwise, he's just running into heroes and not doing anything because he's like, oh crap, I've got a defense. Otherwise, I'm just going to die. What I would argue is if you put paralyzed to like a 4, even a 5+, but made Gulliver fight 8, he'd be a lot more effective this edition. But I think at fight 7, he's a 3+ paralyzed. Otherwise, he just doesn't work as well. And I've had people mess with me. I'll be talking to people saying, you don't need Barrow Whites in Shadows of Angmar. Run it without Barrow Whites. I want to see how you do because it just doesn't work.
I suppose running
maybe you don't need
Angmar without Barrow Whites is sort of just running Birder's Horde, right? You still have the same
Gulliver because you can strike.
Yeah, that's true actually. Yeah. And he teleports behind you.
if Gulliver's fighting men in the West and he loses a fight or a roll off to get out of there, he takes a wound, then Legolas wounds him. He's down to 2 wounds, and he loses a move off. He calls a defense. You only need 2 6s if he's trapped. And that's going to happen. He's going to die. So those Barrow Whites, they just come in clutch by disrupting your opponent. And I think Sean chose Elendil as his favorite model. Shout out Matt Hare, my old friend from the hobby, someone I've played with many times. We played a GP, and he brought Elendil. It was Contest of Champions against Gulliver. Elendil just got paralyzed turn 1 and just didn't do anything the whole game and then died. And it's like, I feel bad for you. But that's what that model's there to do, because Gulliver can't do it. Gulliver just charges Elendil, he dies. So the yin and yang. It's the light side and the dark side. It is a massive dark side model.
It's
And I'm not
20
ashamed
0
to
or
To
say
be
nil
it.
fair as
20.
well, I think it's how you deal with it. So when I played Host of the Witch King, I said earlier about the Constance Champions against London. Obviously, Gil Gallo was my opponent's champion. I was obviously immediately terrified that I'm just going to get cut through. So I was just throwing everything I could, transfixes, paralyzes, because obviously Linden, you get the resistance to magic and everything. So I was just trying to shut him down as much as possible. To be fair, I did, because Gil Gallo got 1 kill all game, and the game lasted like 3 hours. But I think that's the thing of, I feel like it should maybe be a 4+, but also it depends how you deal with it. So my opponent did the right thing, because obviously he'd never played against the Paralyzed before. I explained the rules to him. I said, obviously, if you keep models in base contact with him, you get an extra dice to try and resist at the end of the turn. So it's fine, because he just put Gil Galad in the middle of his battle line, and I would transfix him, and he did he had like 4 models touching base with Gil Galad every turn. So I can keep paralyzing him, but he's rolling like 5 dice at the end of each turn until I started chipping away at the elves later on. But he's rolling like 4 or 5 dice every turn to try and resist, to get out of the paralyze. And if you deal with it right, it's totally doable, because most turns he was getting a 6 when he's rolling like 5, 6 dice.
It's the threat.
Yeah, it is. It's a really good. And I mean, I think with Shadows, I haven't played as much Shadows, but especially Host of the Witch King, there's so much utility in there. There's so many tools. It's almost hard to write lists at certain points levels sometimes when you've got like Barrow Whites and stuff in there, because there's just so much kit to take. It's like, what do I prioritize? What do I take first? But Barrow Whites are always the first after like an Orc Captain, just for March and stuff. Just to repeat Sean, the Barrow White's going in there. And yeah, I think if you take like 3, it gets a little toxic, but it's the tools of the list at the end of the day.
Yeah. Anyway, shall we move on? Tom, you never set me any heroes. Was there any heroes or models you wanted to shout out? Oh, hang on, we've got Mark. I forgot you said something.
You've got my lovely 3 men. My 3 I picked because I either really like the models, or I think they are underutilized these days. Start with Rutabi. Rutabi holds a special place in my heart for being the best model in the Dragon Legion after the Dragon Emperor's Palanquin. Not the Dragon Emperor himself. Dragon Emperor never does anything. Rutabi delivers. Shout out to specifically Unyielding Combat Stance on a model that's going to absolutely whip your ass if you step to her wrong and you lose your strike off, and she's got all her mates with all the pike supports behind her doing what's good. It's beautiful to see, getting +1 to wound, re-rolling everything. She just does fantastic work. And the Master Battle as well, I think it's one of the few remaining ones. It didn't go up, I want to say. I think it was a 3 up last edition, 3 up this edition still. So it survived the Master Battle purge, which is good for the most part as well. But the other 2, these are definitely good favorites for me. Mostly because I think I'm drawn to large, muscular men models. Maybe I just really like painting biceps. It's hard to say. Maybe I see a little bit myself in them, or maybe something to aspire to. But my number 2 pick, and it was tough. It was really tough between them, is Mr. Aldrak. We've already spoken about him before, so I won't go over most of the details. But in Khan Doom, he's so much fun. He's so much fun in Khan Doom. Going to being a Fight 7 character to appease Ryan, into his heroic combats, he's suddenly terrifying little Legolases and all that. All those kind of little characters who are going to start feeling the pain. And with everyone else also getting the +1 to wound heroes, if you're taking the full Khan Doom list, just stick another one of those guys in this fight really helps seal the deal for a lot of those. Or just Khan Doom in general. I do love it. I need to take it a bit more often this edition.
I literally played it for the first time tonight, and I took a couple of Hill Trolls, and Hill Trolls going up to Fight 7 on the charge is
beautiful, isn't it?
Absolutely lethal. I know that there are things with the Hill Trolls, they're not mind-blowingly amazing, but 75 points, Fight 7 free attack monster is fun.
Yeah,
and two of them
absolutely.
even more fun.
My 1.5 wishes for Aldrak's profile is getting, if he got himself Glory Seekers, would be really, really nice. Like the fact he doesn't, I guess, is just because he's the only one in the list that's actually found some glory, and everyone else is still trying to find it. I guess that's the logic, but it feels like they really kind of skipped him off that list. Or I'll trade that for him going to Strength 6. Specifically, the number of times I've seen Aldrak try to get his heroic combat off, but he's still needing 5s, and he doesn't do it, or his spear support is the one that actually gets the kill. He doesn't get his free combat for the next time, is just really, really sad. It's really, really sad, and I hate seeing it. And also, it would mean he doesn't get knocked over by Hurl. Or by Cav Charge?
Yes, or by Cav Charge.
And if you look at the size of his biceps, they're bigger than Helm's. So he's arguably stronger, and he's got a nice big chunky shield as well. I think he deserves one of those two things. But yeah, he holds a special place in my heart, as does
One
Santa
of the most
Helm.
overcosted models in the game.
He is so overcosted. But he's also a lot of fun. And if they changed like one or two things about his profile, you would be seeing it a lot more often, I'd guarantee. He's a free combating Fight 7 hero with Mighty Blow.
He's only free combating on the charge, though, isn't he?
On the charge, yeah, that's true, but it's still free combat. How many? Pretty much all the other free combats, apart from Elendil, have some sort of thing attached to them. So that's not out of the question. It's not out of the ordinary. His horn is a really, really useful thing for the army as well. I would drop that to make sure I'm not paying an extra 25 points for Helm, 100%. But on actually using it in defense of the Hornberg, it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Ash can attest to it. I think we had one game back in the day where I think you were playing Host of the Witch King. And I had good old Sandhelm, and I think just getting the +1 courage just suddenly meant that my army was back to its normal base courage and actually getting the charges where it needs to be, doing what it needs to. It's a really, really useful aspect of the profile. And additionally, he's dominant 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, hey, sure, the rest of the army this is the dominant army we're talking about. Like it's going to be, you're going to have a lot of models on things, but he himself being dominant 4 is pretty nice. It's when your leader is dominant 3, he's dominant 4, and the rest of your troops are there. You can quite successfully take a lot of objectives very, very fast, and really ensure that you're like hold ground. For instance, if you have both him and your leader and like, I don't know, 4 dudes in there, that's like what, 7 + 8, so you're looking at like what, 15 models in the middle on 6 is pretty cool. Pretty cool for that sort of stuff.
4 of because he has to charge and runs off the objective.
That's true, but you hedge him in. You put little boys in. You just surround them, and then you say, "Why am I surrounding my 180-point model?" And making sure he does not getting any value, and you question your life decisions that lead you to them. I think what he does do is he fills a very specific niche where you are hitting the points levels where you want to have something that hits harder than Hera, but you still are meeting like warband caps or something like that. And I think it's very specifically 650 points. It's a bit of a hard sell to take him anywhere between 650 and 800, I think, because you really drop a lot of models, and it's really impossible to take him below. But 650 is a bit of a sweet spot. You still get 40 models. You get him. You can take Olwyn, where it's their very name, to be the leader with 3 fate, getting wounded on natty 6s or whatever. So, and that still leaves you with like a really juicy, slappy hitting hero. But yeah, he has a lot of downsides. But one of those upsides is big, juicy muscles. Hoorah! That's my main thing.
So we've got a list of honourable mentions, which we won't go through in detail because of time.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Here's
I had to
another-
have Thryden as
I don't
another
need-
Mighty
I
Blow
don't need
character.
that. I don't actually need my horse.
Birch Seed's
Then
really
I
fun
think
as well.
I think Faramir is another shout in there as well. Now he's actually not shit curing.
Yeah, I really want to run Captain of Athelion model where he's like on the horse.
Yeah.
That'd be my dream. That's the other driving reason for taking him to Preston, is my thinking, is to finally get me to paint that model. Yeah, Thryden as well, just another Mighty Blow guy with big muscles. Me likey. Sensing a theme here. Maybe I should see my psychologist. Lists we love.
So for this section, what we wanted to do was look at some lists that aren't particularly meta, but appeal to us for, one reason or another, whether it be a playstyle thing, whether it be a model thing, whether it be a lore reason or whatever, but just something that we think could be a bit of fun to play around with and see where it went. So we've got my one first, which is Fort of Eisen. Now, I have been threatening to start this army for years.
Yeah.
And I've always been distracted by other things, going on years now. So I was messing about with it. And I think this is the type of points level it quite likes. It quite likes 600 to 650, looking at this sort of 35 to 40 model territory. It's probably the list of all of them that gets hit the hardest by the throwing spear issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it still has play. There's still some nice bits in it. The reason why it appeals to me is I just really like kind of the half-explored bit of the lore with it. I like the idea of it almost being this whole other conflict that was going on that we don't really see because it didn't involve the Fellowship. But there's enough drips of it there to be interesting. I think it has some really interesting modelling opportunities. And I just like the idea of ultimately, here's my big hitty hero, a cheap might caddy who grants used to be 3 might. Elf Helm now for some reason being 3 attacks, and your March is quite nice. But it just gives you the quite nice, fearless, fight 4, heavily strength 4 block, with Cav to play around the side, bit of strength 3 shooting, lots of throwing spears. And yeah, it really appeals to me.
My 2 comments on this are it really has turned into a bit of a poor man's Defender of the Hornburg, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Hashtag we love Santa Helm. But would it hurt the meta if they just gave Theodred free combat?
So I think what they should have done with this list is, there's profiles out there like the Lothlorien Guard or whatever it is, where it's they have no model, but it's pay a point to do this. I think this should have been the list where you explore that in for Rohan. So you could pay a point to make a guy a Halmingus, or you could pay a point to make a guy a warrior of Harrowdale or whatever, and they get maybe they get some bonus, maybe they get Shield Wall or something.
Do you mean outside of the warbands that they already are allowed in, as in you can get Helmingers already?
Well, yeah. So because ultimately, if you played this without Legacy, you wouldn't get Helmingus.
Yeah, which feels like they're losing the point of the list in many ways.
Yeah. So I think this could have been a real space to explore something like that, which could have been quite fun for Rohan. Having the idea that there's more to Rohan than just kind of the sort of like the Royal Army Theoden puts together. It is kind of almost like a fief kind of style thing. And I think that could have been really a fun space to explore with this list, but they didn't. But
each time I agree. I think each time I look at Fords of Eisen, I just constantly want to go back and try another Kingdom of Rohan build. Be like, oh yeah, because now you can get Grimwald in that, and you can get Theodred, and then you can get like another Slappy hero, and then all these little pieces. It feels a bit too. It needs something else. One big thing that could really tip it over the edge to actually being seen. To be honest, I think it's a fun list to look at, in many ways as well. Tom.
Yeah.
Tommen with the fiefdoms. Ooh.
Yeah. So I really like the models for this. My own army of this is pretty much all metal, which is just nice. I don't have any of the Forge World Don Amroth guys, just the old ones. It's not a very good list. The army bonus is super situational, but it's so for those who don't know, it's sort of keyword linked +1 to wound if your heroes charge. So if Imrahil or the captain, but they both have the Gondor and Don Amroth keyword, so if they charge, infantry models with those keywords get +1 to wound, which includes themselves, by the way. So it's quite a sort of honest little list because you just set up your positioning so that when you do a heroic move, there's always a gap for your captain or something to run through, and if you lose the move off, and then you unlock +1 to wound on your army. And then when it's at its best, it's a sort of fight 5 block, +1 to wound, just having a good time. Forlong is, I always really like using Forlong. He got a nice little buff this edition. He can't take a horse anymore, obviously, but he's got the cheeky Warhorn. So once per game, 18 inches, the army causes terror, which is just really nice. Again, it's situational, but it's just kind of fun. You've got Axeman in there for doing a bit of chopping if you want. Captain for March. And Imrahil, he's not good enough to be...
That says it all, doesn't it? The sigh.
he's not good enough to be good, but he's good enough to be fun. I don't know if that's a thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree.
if he goes in and rolls well, it'll be really nice. If he goes in and rolls a 4 high, he'll just lose his horse and die immediately, and you'll feel sad. And then he's doing nothing for most of the game.
I did play against fiefdoms in a tournament recently, which just had him flat on foot as just an acceptance of, if I take the horse, it's not surviving for long enough, so it's not worth bothering about at the end of the day, which was a bit defeatist, but it sort of worked out in many ways.
Well, again, another reason to do that is the lance is like, if he's on foot, he gets the army bonus +1 to wound if he charges anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I totally get the logic for having him on foot. It's just this list is kind of like a fun list, so I thought, I've got the model, the nice new one painted, and it's probably my best model I've ever painted. So that's
lovely.
But most of the reason why I have it, to be honest.
You have to take it to a tournament then.
I plan to at least once this year.
Good.
Or possibly at most.
80.
You're 700, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shout out to Duin here as well as being not very good on this list, but the only way you can get any bows.
Duin here is indescribably bad, I think.
Although somehow in the game I played against this person as well recently, took Duin here, called two heroic shoots, which resulted in the death of 10 orcs, which is actually the best value I've seen on Duin here at all. In fact, actually, the first point was wasted because he didn't need to reroll any wounds at all.
which speaks more about dice than Duin here, right?
Yeah, that's true. But the second point, that was pretty cool. And hey, if he hadn't had Duin here, then would you have had the opportunity to kill 10 orcs? I think not.
Probably not. No.
Very true.
I guess I'm just a hater then.
You make a very good point with Forlong, actually, with the Terror Horn. That would be a really nice thing to pair with a lovely big lance charge of Dol Amroth Knights. If you ever had the points and the wherewithal to have it. Yeah.
Only could be on foot, could be on horse.
Yeah. How good the Black Numenorian horsemen are. What are they called? Morgul Knights, right?
Morgul Knights.
Yeah.
Black Numenorian Knights now, aren't they?
Yeah, they're specifically.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Oh yeah, no more Morgul. How good they are is a lot to do with the fact they have terror each turn. Which
so on that point, so a couple of points here. So it's quite sad. Imrahil doesn't get his own banner because it's specifically other models.
Oh no.
Which is just another kick in the dick for him. And on the topic of points, when you compare an elf with a shield to a knight of Dol Amroth on foot, it's just bananas, the difference. They're better in literally every way for 1 point less. A Rivendell elf on foot with a shield. Instead, you constantly fight 5 instead of conditionally fight 5. +1 courage, +1 intelligence. You've got an elven blade. You can two-hand if you want. Literally better for 1 point less. For some reason, these knights are just crazy expensive.
They game tested everything. Don't worry.
How much is the Morgul Knight? Are they 14? Is it?
How much
is a Black Numenorian Knights is 20 points.
Yeah. 20 now. Oh, they've gone up this edition then.
They've got up 3 points.
I was going to say 14 seems a little low, considering a Warg Rider is only 13 fully upgraded.
Yeah.
Ryan has sadly had to leave us.
Oh,
but he's given Lothlorien.
I like to spam elves, and I've not been able to spam elves well this edition because I refuse to play Wood Elves. Okay, next.
It is an interesting list, and I think it is now for the purists like Luke Hilda now. I don't think it's really been picked up much by the general masses anymore as a hugely strong list, and it does its thing. It does its thing. I'll be interested to try Pajama Spam, but yeah, it's just it does feel a little boring. Sorry, Ryan. Just your biggest hitter being one of the 3 brothers, and there's still fight 6, and there's still 2 might, or in Haldia's case, he's still only 2 attacks. It's just it's hard to put into words how underwhelming everything feels. If this was your first ever list, I think coming into SBG, you'd have a lovely time with it.
Yeah.
But I think there are greener pastures to be had. Like this one, which I absolutely love.
Yeah.
Arash.
Invisible Pirates. I don't need to say anything else.
Yeah.
Invisible Pirates.
You can't see them, they can't see you.
I can hardly see the list, so it's clearly doing its job.
Well, that's because you sent it to me in dark mode, and I didn't bother to re-enter it into.
I apologize for my color blindness, but
this is the headline.
It's
Stop.
You know what would be really good is if you don't actually show the list, you just say Umbar 700 points, 50 models, because we're all unseen right now.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like, I've played this list quite a few times. It's really bad. It doesn't do anything. The Black Numenorians don't kill and they're overpriced. The Haradrim Warriors don't reroll. There we go. The Haradrim Warriors don't reroll ones to wound in combat because they don't have poison weapons. Dalamir is fight 6. Apart from that, he's exactly the same as he was. And I think someone talked about Boromir being 100 points and 6 might in every heroic in the game. Dalamir is 2 might, and he's got Bane of Kings. He can't be trapped, and his smoke bomb only works if you don't have will. So not great. Delgamar solid. I mean, even you just basically have him in this list with 3 might. He can't whip the pirates anymore. He's lost his kink whip. The Hasharin is great. But again, 1 might, 1 will, 3 fate.
Yeah, but he's your leader.
I mean, Dalamir technically is a Hasharin, but yeah, you just kill Dalamir and then elect Delgamar, and when Delgamar's at risk, you just kill Delgamar and elect someone else. So, Pirate Republic. But apart from that, the list it's fine. If you come up against Gondor, happy days because you hate them. But yeah, you're just there. It's really good into objective. Exactly. It is actually good against Men of the West, surprisingly. It's good. It's good at objective play because you just hide because the whole army has still can see.
And you've got 50 models.
Yeah, and you've got 50 models, and you've got a bunch of Terracles models. But I don't need to say anything other than Invisible Pirates.
Yeah.
Ironically, there's no. I think I have just 1 pirate, anyways, in terms of warriors. So.
There he is. There he is. Hey, there's our boy.
And on the note of Invisible Pirates, shall we?
Do we have another invisible list, or?
No, I think that's everything.
Okay. Yeah, that's
that was not
on the note of invisible
pilots.
Invisible pilots? Fuck me, it's late. Invisible pirates, I can say with certainty that we have nothing more to see. How's that?
Yeah.
I'm getting better at this. I think I started on a high, actually. Now I'm thinking about it. It's just slowly going down. Thank you, everybody, for getting this far. If you did, let us know in the comments below what you love, what models you really, really enjoy. And let's, if there is any doom and gloom you still have about FAQ, just think of the stuff that you actually enjoy about this game, and let's think about that a lot more. So yeah, with that, we'll see you guys next month for our next podcast in March. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Won't be 2 hours.
No, not still.